This video will cover matrices and how to use matrices to solve system of equations. The first thing we want to talk about is what a matrix is. A matrix is the singular version of the word matrices, which is the plural version. And a matrix is any set of numbers that is combined by brackets and that is defined by m times n, where m is the number of rows and n is the number of columns. All matrices are denoted by capital letters. This is matrix A, and every element, which is the number that is inside the matrix, will have a small letter or a lowercase letter to define it. Now each element has a number behind it, and in those elements it tells me what the position of the element is in the matrix. So M is the row and N is the column. So if I looked at A11, this would be the element in the first row in the first column. Likewise, if I looked at A32, then I know that this would be the number or the element that is in the third row and in the second column. Now that we understand a little bit about matrices, we're going to look at the augmented matrix. And the augmented matrix takes a system of equations and it transfers it into a matrix. So of course, to make a matrix, we're going to need a set of brackets, and then augmented matrix or matrices are different than regular matrices because they have a line. And this line will divide the problem from the answer. So everything on the left side will be the equation and everything on the right side will be the answer. We're going to put the first equation on the first line and the second equation on the second line. When we start putting equations into matrix form, we have to line up all the x's and the y's, and if there's other variables as well, and then we're going to put them in order. Now the stuff that I've put on top of my matrix is just to guide me. You don't need this, it's not part of the matrix. Only the things that involve the brackets and the stuff inside the brackets are the matrix. But this will help guide me as to where to put my numbers. The only thing that goes in a matrix are the coefficients. So if I look at x in the first equation, I have 3x. So 3 is what will go in my first spot in this matrix. Next I see y. So in the first equation, negative 4y is here. And then my answer goes behind my line. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line up our x's. So negative 7 will come under the x, negative 2 will be under the negative 4, and 3 will be part of the answer. So, like I said, just the part that I'm boxing is the answer. The stuff that I've put off to the sides and on the top are just guidelines. So now let's look at this equation, and let's put it in an augmented matrix. So for my augmented matrix, again, we're going to have an answer, and we can put those in for 8 and 11. And now we're going to go ahead and look at these equations. So my first equation has an x and a z. My second one has a y and a z, and my third one has an x and a y. So I know, just by rule of thumb, that I'm going to have x, y, and z. And we normally put these in alphabetical order. So if I look at my first equation, I have a 3 for x, but I do not have a y, so I have to put in a 0 placeholder. And then for z, I have negative 1. For the second equation, I have no x, so in that case I have a 0 for x, a 1 for y, and a negative 4 for the z. And the last equation, I have a 4 for the x, I have a negative 9 for the y, and I have no z. So what you see in pink is the augmented matrix that defines the system of equations above.